Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, I'm going to go over exercises to quickly relieve constipation. I'm going to show how to stir things up in the colon and rectum to improve the urge to go, but I'm also going to show a better, more natural position to make it a lot easier to go. Each one of these exercises works just a little bit differently. To get the best results, go through them all and use what gives you the most relief. With that being said, let's get started. Here's an exercise that can help relieve constipation that you can do in bed or on a floor. Just lie flat on your back like this. The first movement is called a pelvic rocker. It's going to help loosen everything across the pelvic floor, including into the rectum. So what I'm going to do first is just have my whole body nice and relaxed. Don't try to tense any muscles with this one, including over your abdomen, over the core muscles. Take your hands, put them right on your hips. Now imagine your tailbone. What you want to do is scoop it up like this, curling it towards your belly button. As you do this, you're going to start to feel your hips start to rock and a lot of muscles across the pelvic floor start to engage. Let's hold this comfortably for a second or two and then release it. On the next repetition though, what we're going to do is go in reverse. So we're going to imagine our tailbone again, but this time around press it down, curling it backwards so your tailbone is pressing into the bed or the floor. Again, you're going to notice that your hips start to rock. It just hits the muscles a little bit differently though. Let's go in both directions about 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, just keep building into it over and over again. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it's starting to give you the urge to have to go to the bathroom, definitely let it all out. But if it feels like it needs a little bit more, just keep building into this over and over again until it finally helps relieve that constipation. So to take this one to the next level, we can do a couple more movements that hopefully will give us more relief. The first one is what I'd like to call the windshield wiper. So we're going to start in our original position of having our legs hip width apart, feet flat. What you want to do is keep your lower back flat and take your knees and swing them downward towards the floor as much as you can, moving through your hips. You're going to feel a really deep activation around the pelvic floor into the hips. Let's hold this comfortably for a second or two, and then just like a windshield wiper, we're going to go towards the other side and repeat. Do this 10 to 15 times on both sides, but if it feels like it's helping, keep throwing repetitions in until everything gets stirred up and you have the urge to go. The last movement is a modified happy baby. So with this one, we're going to put our legs together and take our hands and arms and cradle around our knees. What you want to do is pull your knees towards your chest until you feel a really good stretch forming across your legs into your buttocks, and it should feel like your butt and tailbone slightly lifts off the bed or the floor. We're going to hold this position, and now just like cradling a baby, we're going to rock it back and forth. So we're going to lower our knees down towards one side, moving through our hips, hold that for a second or two, and then go towards the other side and repeat. Do this 10 to 15 times. But go through all of these movements. You may find that one just really helps out the most, and at that point, keep building into it over and over again until you finally have the urge to go. Here's some standing exercises that can quickly stir things up in the colon and rectum and hopefully quickly relieve constipation. The first one is a marching motion. So what I'm going to do is take my hands, put them right out in front of me, roughly about hip level. You're just going to drive one knee up, tap your hand, bring it back down, and then repeat this on the other side. So we're just going to do this nice and slowly for about 10 to 15 times on both sides. As you do this, you're going to feel a lot of muscles start to engage across the legs, but more importantly, into the pelvic floor, and you'll probably start to feel it a little bit around your rectum also. To make this one a little bit more challenging though, just try to raise your hands up so you're driving your knees a little bit higher than your hips. But just kind of build into this over and over again for 10 to 15 repetitions. Relax, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or two. So another movement that you can do is very similar, but this one, it kind of acts like a percussion exercise to just stir things up, get things loosened up. So you're going to place all of your body weight onto your heels, and what you're going to do is just a marching motion like this, so kind of like running in place. As you do this, you're going to feel a lot of things start to get stirred up across your abdomen into the pelvic floor. I like to do this for about 15 to 20 seconds. Relax, take a breather, and then repeat this a couple more times. So a couple more movements that you can do, especially to loosen things up across the pelvic floor, is by doing the hula hoop motion. So with this one, I'm going to take a really big wide stance. I like to place all of my body weight onto my heels also and have my toes pointed out. Let's take our hands, put them right on our hips. And what you're going to do is imagine a hula hoop around your waist. So you want to do a big wide circle like this with your hips and your pelvis. I try to build into this one, and it doesn't matter which direction you go in. I'm going counterclockwise. I just try to do that big loop moving through my body as much as I can, 10 times. And then from there, I just switch it up in the opposite direction and then repeat. The nice thing about this one is when you do it, you're probably going to find that one certain position, like for me, going forward towards the right, just feels like it's the most tight or achy. At that point, I just keep building into it over and over again until it finally loosens up. That right there might be some of the reason, that tightness that is causing you to just have a lot of tension and constipation. So just keep building into that as much as you can. Find the movements that offer the most relief. So the last one is going to be more of a basic pooing position. I always like to say it's like the natural pooing position, that is. And it's the squat. But I'm going to show you how to do the variation that is called the goblet squat. So for this one, we're going to have our legs and our feet a little bit wider than our hips. Let's place all of our body weight onto our heels and have our toes pointed out just a little bit, just about 5 to 10 degrees. You're going to take your hands, put them together like a prayer position, and then put them right into your chest. Kind of just drive them in. This will help keep your back nice and straight. From here, we're going to bend our knees and then we're going to squat downward, lowering our butt towards our heels. As you do this, you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire, but really focus on feeling it around your glutes, buttocks, into your anus. And then from there, you're going to hold this for a second or two, and then with an explosive force from your legs, you're going to drive up like this, relax, take a breather, and then repeat this 10 times. And with each repetition, challenge yourself to squat a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or two. So an overlooked cause of constipation actually comes from the position that we're in while trying to go to the bathroom. For most people, we sit on a toilet just like this, but it's actually not a natural position. In fact, what it does is it kinks the colon and rectum to the point where you don't get much flow going through. It's kind of like taking a garden hose, clamping down on it like this, and still expecting the same amount of water to go through. Doesn't happen. So a really easy way to unkink that pathway is by doing this. We need something that's going to be sturdy and tall enough that when we put our feet up on it like this, our knees will be higher than our hips. A simple wastebasket works well. A lot of people though like to get what is called a squatty potty. I've actually used one myself. They work really well. If you would like to look into one, I will leave a link in this video's comments section and description. Very good investment if you deal with constipation. So in this position, with your knees higher than your hips, what you're going to notice is that whole pathway through the colon and rectum will start to relax. Just take your arms, put them on your knees, close your eyes, doze off. Do nice, deep breaths in and out. Just relax as much as possible. It might take a couple minutes, maybe even several minutes, but what you're going to notice is the urge to go to the bathroom will become greater and greater. So to take this one to the next level, what you can do while doing the deep breaths in and out is doing a humming motion, kind of like a sound like this. It will cause a little bit more vibration across the colon, rectum, through the anus, and again, just hopefully get things stirred up where it will give you the urge to go. Here's another natural pooing position that we can do standing to quickly relieve constipation. I call this one pop a squat because if you've ever been outside hiking and had the urge to go to the bathroom, I'm sure this is going to look very familiar. For this one, we just need something sturdy that we can grab onto that will support our body weight. You can use a door frame, a pole, a squat rack. If you don't have any of those, just go outside and grab a tree. So let's get really close to whatever we're going to use. Take our hands, grip as low as possible, and make sure to get a very good grip. We don't want our hands sliding off during this exercise. From here, I'm going to keep my back nice and straight and then have my feet roughly hip width apart. And we're going to place all of our body weight onto our heels. Our toes are going to be pointed out slightly. From here, we're going to bend our knees and then squat our bottom down towards the floor and and use your hands to guide yourself. So the more that you go down, the more that you're going to feel a deep activation around the buttocks and the glutes, and also around the anus. The goal is to get your butt lower than your knees to help unkink your colon and rectum and hopefully get the urge to have to go. Try to hold this as long as possible, 30 seconds if you're able to. When you need a breather, just use your hands like this, come back up. But try to build into this for about 3 to 5 repetitions. And with each repetition, try to build into it a little bit more, and I hope that that gives you a very quick urge to have to go. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.